This was the week that completely changed the direction of my life and how I live on a day-to-day basis. It is the single best thing that I've ever done for myself. Hello, my loves. My name is Elizabeth Schutz. If we're just meeting for the first time, welcome to Wonderland. On this channel, we talk about personal growth and development, spirituality, the law of attraction, holistic health and wellness, and so much more. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience at Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica. Rythmia Life Advancement Center is an all-inclusive luxury resort that combines ancient wisdom with modern techniques for healing and creating a life that you love. It is located in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica, which is one of the 5 blue zones in the world where people live the longest, happiest, and healthiest lives. In the 7-day program, you can participate in 4 ayahuasca plant medicine ceremonies. They have personalized workshops, life coaching, yoga, meditation, organic farm-to-table food, and a premier spa that you have access to with massages and volcanic mud baths. I actually have a really hard time articulating just how grateful I am for my experience at Rhythmia. Words really just don't seem to do it justice. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Dr. Jeff. Thank you to everybody at Rhythmia. I am so grateful. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being of service, and thank you for making this incredible place possible. I first learned about ayahuasca around 10 years ago. I had just become interested in the idea of consciousness expansion, so I was casually looking at ways to do it. Through Googling, I found this ancient Amazonian psychedelic brew called ayahuasca. According to Google, it caused your ego to die and you were just left as your pure soul. Later on, I found out that this wasn't true. Your relationship with your ego is just redefined. But at the time I thought, wow, this sounds really awesome. I need to do this someday. So I put it on my bucket list and I hoped that an opportunity would appear to me. Periodically over the years, I looked for places I could go for ceremonies or retreats, but none of them really felt like the place I was supposed to go. And I had this gut feeling that if I tried to force something to happen, it wouldn't end up turning out well. So I just left it up to the universe. Then this last year, an amazing opportunity to go on an ayahuasca retreat appeared to me. A person I knew wanted to go on a retreat, but she didn't want to go alone. As we were talking, she mentioned this and I said, oh my goodness, this is something that I've always wanted to do. So she asked me to go with her and I said yes. Now she actually planned everything. I left it up to her and the universe. I trusted that it would all work out the way it was supposed to. I just wrote down the dates we were going and what flights we were on and went on with my life. I didn't do any sort of research before I went. I just knew I was going. Truthfully, I did have second thoughts about going. I had just recommitted to my yoga practice the month before and I didn't want anything to mess up my routine. Also, I was worried I would come back a different person. I was worried that I would be so radically changed. My friends and family wouldn't accept me anymore. So I told people I was going to Costa Rica, but I kept the ayahuasca part a secret. I didn't want anybody to know about it. I didn't want anybody to try and talk me out of it. I had committed to going and I was gonna go. So the time comes and after what feels like forever flying and driving, I finally get to Rhythmia. It is incredibly hot. I am exhausted. I'm not in the best mood, but everybody there was so genuinely kind and happy. It was like walking into an alternate dimension. I thought to myself, wow, this is gonna be an interesting week. Interesting does not begin to describe what happened. Because of our timing when we arrived, we ended up rushing off to this welcome introduction gathering. And as we're listening, the speaker begins to talk about soul mergers and healing your heart and setting intentions. I wasn't gonna admit this to anybody who was there, but I was terrified. I was thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? I should have done more research before I got here. Why did I go into this experience blind? It's too late to back out now. Just as a note, plant medicine is not for everybody, so do what is best for your own health and wellness. Rhythmia is a medically licensed facility, so they do have doctors on site and they are extremely vigilant about health and safety. They do a fantastic job of preparing you for your journey, explaining what is going on at all times, and just generally making sure that you are safe. So even though I was really scared, it was never because I felt physically unsafe at any time. It was more so that when you're working with plant medicine, you're encountering the unknown, and at that time, I found the unknown terrifying. So the next night is our first ceremony. I remember I am waiting outside the Maloka, and I am just this big bundle of nervous energy. I'm trying to keep it together. Then finally it's time for all of us to go inside, pick our beds, and get comfy. So I pick my bed, I get comfy, and after a little while, the ceremony begins. I go up and I drink my first cup. It's like nothing I've ever tasted before in my life. It is nature boiled down into a shot glass. I did have a little trouble keeping it down at first, but they give you really clear instructions on, how to let the medicine integrate. So I sat up, I tried to stay as still as possible, just letting the medicine start getting familiar with me. Then all of a sudden, I had this feeling that I needed to lay down. I followed that instinct. Then Houston, we had liftoff. The mattress I'm on turns into this like cosmic hug, and it's just so soft and warm and cozy. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. Then I start to hear Mother Ayahuasca sing to me through the music that they're playing. Then time and space as I know it ceases to exist. Fractal patterns start appearing everywhere, so I'm in this kaleidoscopic, lovely journey. So I have my eyes closed. Then with my eyes closed, I see this figure above my head. It was a plague doctor from the 17th century. He had time traveled to perform a surgery on me. So he takes out this big knife and he cuts me open straight down the middle of my chest. He cracks me open and starts pulling these black masses out from around my heart. When he's finished, he sews me back up again and he's just hovering right above my head. So I say thank you and you can go, and he disappears. After that, it was time to drink the second cup. So I went up, I drank my cup, I went back to my mattress, and after a little while, I start confronting all of these feelings that I haven't allowed myself to feel for a long time because of the veils around my heart. I start purging feelings of self-doubt, self-hatred, worthlessness. Then somehow I ended up in purgatory. In purgatory, there was nothing but blackness. Even when I opened my eyes and I could see what was going on in the room around me, it was just all black. I felt very disconnected from it. My overwhelming feeling in that state was I just wanted to die. I wanted to go home. I didn't want to do this anymore. I was in the pit of despair. I just wanted to run. But I sat there with my feelings. Then after a little while, I heard this voice. She said, just go to sleep. Everything is always better after you go to sleep. So I followed the advice, I laid down, and I fell asleep for a little while. When I woke up, the feelings of wanting to die had completely disappeared. My journey continued. What seemed like both seconds and hours later, it was time for the ceremony to close. We all gathered around and had a little group chat about what had happened that night. Then it was time to go to bed so we can do it all again tomorrow. I slept for about 4 hours, got up, decided that I was going to skip yoga that day, and I went to breakfast. Oh my goodness, you guys, the food at Rhythmia is a 10 out of 10. It is some of the best I have ever had in my entire life. It is so fresh, it is unbelievable. After breakfast, there were workshops that you could attend, so I went to those. Later in the afternoon, we had a plant medicine integration meeting. It's kind of like a group therapy session with everybody who's there, and we all get to talk about, what happened and gain clarity on anything that you may be confused about. It is incredibly helpful. One of the things I love most about Rhythmia is that they really hold your hand through the whole process. It is amazing if this is your first time doing plant medicine. After a beautiful day, it's time for the next night's ceremony. Despite my awesome day that I had, I was still really nervous about what was going to happen. So I set my first intention of the night as trust. I asked Mother Ayahuasca to please be gentle with me. The time comes, I go up, I drink my first cup, I come back to my mattress. I realized that I have to pee. I started having this internal debate. Do I go now? Do I wait until after the medicine is integrated into my body? Going now won. So I got up, I went to the bathroom, I came back to my mattress, I sat down, and as soon as I sat down, I was fully in my journey. It was like Mother Ayahuasca slapped me in the face and said, let's go. There was still a line of people waiting to drink their first cup. I start freaking out. I am worried that I'm going to forget how to breathe. It feels like there is just this gigantic elephant on my chest. I need help, and I need help now. I grab my bucket and I go over to one of the facilitators. She is just this wonderful soul, and she grabs my hand and takes me outside to somewhere a little more private. I'm crying like I've never cried before in my life, and she is helping me through this huge emotional turmoil. Then suddenly I feel myself crack open where I had had surgery the night before. I take a deep breath in and I become one with the universe. I saw the truth of who I was. I saw how I was living from a space and mindset of fear. It was anxiety that was not allowing me to breathe. It wasn't allowing me to be me. I had locked away parts of myself because I was afraid of getting hurt. My anxieties had been dictating my life. In letting that go, I could breathe again. I saw the truth of the universe, that everything is love. We are made of love. Everything is us, and we are everything. Nothing is separate. And I merged back with my soul. I got my miracle. The next two ceremonies were so beautiful. They had some very difficult moments, but I would not change a single thing about them. I am so happy to have experienced them. I learned so much about who I am, who I could be, who I want to be, the nature of the universe. It was a beautiful experience. When it came time to go home, I did not want to leave. I wanted to stay. I wanted to do more work. I wanted to go deeper. But at Rhythmia, they say that 50% of the work is done there with the plant medicine, and the other 50% is done at home in your life. So I went home. When I got home, first thing I did was I told my mom the truth. And then I went about reorganizing my life. I wanted to sustain my miracle, and I knew that in order to do that, I had to make some changes. I reevaluated my priorities, and I created life structures to support the life that I wanted to live. Among other changes, I started meditating daily. I started a breathwork practice, and I make sure to spend some time outside every day. Now it's 6 months later, my life has completely changed. I live every day like it's a miracle. I am so grateful to wake up every morning and get to experience this wonderful world we live in. Love is the predominant force in my life. I have the courage to be vulnerable, and I finally feel fully comfortable in my skin. My yoga practice has dramatically shifted in the most positive ways. My relationships are better than ever because of the positive relationship I now have with myself. I manifested an amazing job, and I started my own business. Even though there are difficult times, I find that it is so much easier for me to stay centered through them. Most of all, I learned that I want to live a life in service to others. I'm not exactly sure where life is going to take me, but I know that because of this experience, it is going to be bigger and better than I could have ever imagined, and I am going to enjoy every second of the ride there. Thank you for joining me here today. If you are interested in attending Rhythmia Life Advancement Center, I put all of their contact information down below. I am going back again this year, and I am counting down the days. Until next time, so much love, blessings, devotion, and appreciation.